There's a man I know, 51 years old, works in tech, used to run half marathons in his 30s. A few weeks ago, he came into my office looking frustrated. He said, "Doc, I've been eating clean. I cut carbs. I'm even doing intermittent fasting. But the scale won't budge. Worse, my belly's growing, and I wake up more tired than ever. What am I doing wrong?" Sound familiar? You're not lazy. You're not broken. But how we've been told to eat, especially after 40, is broken. Now here's the kicker. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson eats 6 times a day. He eats white rice, burgers, even cookies on his cheat days. And he's in phenomenal shape. So, should you eat like The Rock? Absolutely not. But should you learn something from how he eats, trains, and prioritizes health over the long haul? Absolutely yes. This video isn't about celebrity diets. It's about what works after 40, when your hormones shift, metabolism slows, and your old tricks stop working. You're going to walk away today with fundamental, practical strategies. No gimmicks, no starvation, just science-backed, age-smart nutrition that helps real people, like you, lose weight, balance energy, and feel good again. So let's start at the beginning. He eats 6 times a day. Should you? Dwayne Johnson eats 6 meals a day and looks fantastic doing it, so it's tempting to think, maybe that's the secret. I may need to eat more often to lose weight. Here's the reality. What works for someone like The Rock, who spends hours training every day, doesn't translate for most people over 40. Especially if you're juggling a desk job, having family stress, and not getting much movement. I had a 48-year-old patient who decided to copy The Rock's 6-meal routine to the letter. He was all in, prepped every meal, set alarms to eat every 3 hours like clockwork. But after 2 months, instead of losing weight, he gained 5 pounds and felt constantly bloated. I'll never forget what he said. "Doc, I feel like I'm feeding a pet, not fueling my body." The real issue wasn't the number of meals. His body no longer responded as it did in his 30s. Once you're past 40, things start to shift under the surface. Your metabolism slows down, insulin doesn't respond quite as effectively, and your digestive system benefits from having more space between meals to reset. That's why for most people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, sticking to 3 solid meals a day, maybe with a small snack if needed, is supposed to work better than eating all day. Your body needs rhythm. It thrives on consistency, not constant snacking. So instead of asking, should I eat more often, the real question is, how do I eat smarter for where I am in life now? And that leads to something even more practical. What does a let's eat look like if you don't have a private chef or hours to cook every day? You don't need a private chef. That's need a plan. Let's be honest, most of us don't have a team here, so we prepare macro-balanced don'ts around the clock. Dwayne Johnson does. That's how he stays consistent while filming across the globe. Here's something that ig don't prize you. You don't need a gourmet kitchen or a full-time chef to eat well. You need a simple plan that fits into the chaos of your real life. I remember working with a 52-year-old nurse who looked exhausted when she first came in. She told me, "Between double shifts and barely sleeping, I grab whatever's around. I can't cook every night." So instead of giving her a strict meal plan or asking her to overhaul everything, we kept it simple. We pick his not easy, heal its meals she liked and could prepare ahead of time. Just 3. Once she could rotate during the week without overthinking or stressing about what to eat next. One was a hearty salad with grilled chicken, another was a veggie stir-fry with quinoa, and the third, her favorite, was a slow-cooked stew she made on Sundays. Within a few weeks, she wasn't just eating better. Let's see how energy improved. She lost 6 pounds, and for the first time in months, he wasn't skipping meals or grabbing snacks out of stress. It wasn't magic. It was just a plan that worked for her. The key isn't perfection. It's predictability. Your metabolism loves consistency. Taking the guesswork out of meals makes you less likely to reach for processed foods. We eat emotionally. Think of it this way. You don't need to cook like a celebrity chef. You need a 3-meal playbook that fits your lifestyle, budget, and taste. So what should actually go on your plate, especially after 40? Let's break that down in your eat to nourish, not just to please your tongue. When we were, food was often a reward. Ice cream after a sound repod card, comfort meals when we were sad. And somewhere along the way, many of us started eating to soothe our emotions, not support our health. One of my patients, a 59-year-old retired firefighter, told me, "Doc, I know what healthy food looks like, but when I'm stressed, all I want is mac and cheese." That's it. After 40, stress, sleep issues, and hormonal shifts make emotional eating even more complicated to control. Your body craves sugar, not because you're weak, but because your insulin and dopamine are out of sync. That's why shitting rock sign set is so powerful. When you ask, "Will this meal help my energy?" Lets my brain. Your food doesn't change. Not perfectly, but gradually. We didn't take away his comfort food for that patient. We swapped the box mac for a creamy homemade cauliflower version with herbs and lean turkey. Still comforting, still delicious, but nourishing. That's the point. Food should feel good and do good for your body. So let's talk about when those feel-good foods, like burgers and cookies, have a place. Because yes, even after 50, you can still enjoy them, if you know how. The Rock's comfort food, burger? Free wasn't cookies. Can you have that too? Let's clarify. Enjoying ood doesn't mean sabotaging your health. With his strict training, even The Rock has his famous cheat meals with burgers, fries, and cookies. The real question is, can you enjoy those same comfort foods without derailing your goals after 40? And the answer is yes, but with a more innovative strategy. I once coached a 47-year-old teacher who used to eat clean Monday through Friday, then let loose on the weekend, ordering pizza, drinks, and a few. Her Ritz plateaued, and she feels like a failure. But the issue wasn't the food we've had. The lack of what's worked, let's I call intentional indulgence. Instead of reactive, guilt-driven eating, she picked one meal a week that she truly looked forward to. You've got to love grilled burger with sweet potato fries. We made sure she ate it earlier in the day, after a walk or workout, and balanced it with lighter meals around it. No shame, no binge, just joy and structure. The result? She is not losing weight. More importantly, she stopped feeling at war with food. That's the shift. After 40, it's not about perfection. It's about permission with awareness. So now that we've talked about what's allowed, let's talk about what should be prioritized, starting with how to use protein and carbs correctly. Macro tracking for real people over 50. You've probably heard fitness influencers talk about tracking macros, protein, carbs, and fats, as a magic formula. But for most people over 50, logging every bite wasn't exhausting. Let me simplify it for you. You don't need to count grams. You just need to understand balance. One of my patients, a 61-year-old accountant, once said, "Doc, I just want to know what should be on my plate without using a calculator." So we used the plate method. Half the plate, colorful vegetables. A quarter protein, like grilled chicken or fish. And a quarter, complex carbs, like quinoa or sweet potatoes. No tracking, no stress. He dropped 10 pounds in just a few weeks. But the weight wasn't really what stood out. It was how his energy bounced back and his blood sugar finally leveled out. That's the reason. It didn't happen because he obsessed over numbers, but because he showed up consistently. After 50, protein shifts from a good idea to something your body needs. It plays a significant role in keeping muscles strong, helping regulate your blood sugar, and even curbing those late-night snack cravings that don't take you. And as for carbs, they've gotten a bad rap, but they're not the enemy. The real game changer is when you eat them and which ones you choose. That's where the difference shows up. So instead of obsessing over every gram, try asking yourself a better question. What does my body need right now to feel energized, balanced, and supported? When you listen to what your body is asking, that's not what a trendy diet tells you. Everything starts to work better. I'll walk you through how it's time your proteins and carbs in a way that supports your metabolism, not fights against it. Let's aren't the enemy, but timing is everything. Carbs have become the villain in every diet headline, but the truth is, your body still needs them, especially after 40. The real issue? It's not what carbs you eat, it's when and how. I remember a 55-year-old client who cut out all carbs for months. She lost weight at first, but it's hit a wall. Low energy, poor sleep, and intense sugar cravings at night. Her body wasn't failing her, it was fighting back. After 40, your insulin sensitivity often drops, and your muscles don't store carbs as efficiently, especially late at night. So instead of banning carbs, we made one change. She ate her complex that's like sweet potatoes or brown rice earlier in the day, with lunch or post-workout, when her body could use that energy. We focused more on leafy greens, good quality protein, and healthy fats when dinner rolled around. And guess what happened? Her energy came back. Those late-night cravings stopped showing up, and she started sleeping through the night for the first time in months. That's how much of a difference timing your carbs can make. Carbs aren't the enemy, they're fuel. But like any fuel, they work best when you use them at the right time. So if you've been cutting carbs and still feeling stuck, maybe the problem isn't the carbs, maybe it's when you're eating them. And while let's talk of eating, there's one more thing that trips up hearts of people. Something that can sabotage your progress no matter how clean your diet is. It's stress. Even the kind you've learned don't have. Longevity don't looks. What really matters after 40? In your 20s, it's all about that aesthetic. By your you hit 40, especially 50, and by the fundamental goal shifts. It's not about having a six-pack. It's about having energy to play with your grandkids. Confidence to enjoy your bodies, strength to stay out of the doctor's office. I had a 63-year-old client who told me, I just want to be able to garden, travel, and not worry about my blood pressure spiking every time I walk upstairs. That's a decisive shift from chasing perfection to building resilience. And that's the good news. Your body still responds beautifully to the proper care. Weight loss becomes less about cutting carbs and more about protecting muscle, improving health, balancing hormones, and reducing silent inflammation. These things extend your life and the quality of that life. So yes, you can still enjoy looking good, but make that the bonus, not the goal. Because every healthy habit you build is like adding a deposit to your longevity bank. So let's wrap this up with the most important takeaway. What can you start doing tomorrow morning to shift your health trajectory without stress or overwhelm? Let's talk about it. Don't copy celebrities, copy their discipline. It's easy to look at someone like The Rock and think, if I just did exactly what he does, I'd look like that too. But here's the reality. You don't live in his world. You don't have his schedule, genetics, or team of trainers and chefs. And that's okay. Because you're not supposed to copy his routine. You're supposed to copy his discipline. One of my clients, a 58-year-old former truck driver, once told me, I finally realized I was chasing someone else's lifestyle instead of building my own. That moment changed everything. He stopped doing workouts that hurt his joints and started walking daily. He stopped trying to eat 6 times a day and focused on 3 balanced meals. He didn't become a bodybuilder. He became consistent. And that's the secret. Celebrities are consistent, not superhuman. They show up. They follow a plan. And here's what separates successful people. They keep going, even when life throws curveballs. That's the habit worth learning. You don't need chiseled abs or a Hollywood trainer. You need a plan that fits your body, your hormones, and your stage of life. And the best part? You don't have to get it all right today. Start with one small change, something you can stick with tomorrow. Because often, it's not the big overhauls that change your health. It's the quiet, consistent steps. So here's the big question. What's one thing, just one, that you can do today to start feeling better in your body, without the stress or pressure?